Good evening, student. uh, am I audible? Rojarani Patra.
Yes.
Okay. So, where is your other friends who are attending classes of different papers of your environmental science? You are the only one in this platform now.
Yes, sir. Mm, I think they will come soon.
Okay. In the previous classes, the attendance is okay, or they do not have the information that today is the class at
Hmm.
6 p.m.
ସମସ୍ତେ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି ସାର୍
Okay.
ଆସିବେ
କିନ୍ତୁ
ସାର୍ ଡିସ୍କସ୍
okay,
ହେଇଥିଲେ
okay, ଠିକ ଅଛି। Okay, then ଆମେ ଆଉ 5 to 10 minutes wait କରିବା ହେଲା।
ହଁ ସାର୍
then ତମର ଯୋଉ ପେପରଟା ଆଜି ଆମେ କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁ କରିବା ସେଟା ହଉଛି MEV-16।
ହଁ ସାର୍
ତମର ଯିଏ ସାର୍ ତମକୁ ପଢଉଥିଲେ ତାଙ୍କର ବୋଧେ କିଛି ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ରହିଲା, ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଏ ପେପରଟା ପୁଣି ମତେ ସୁଇଚ୍ ଓଭର କରାହେଇଛି।
ହଁ ସାର୍
ସୋ ମତେ ଖାଲି ଟିକେ ଇଣ୍ଟିମେଟ କର କୋଉ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ଆମର କଭର ଅପ୍ ହେଇଯାଇଛି ସାର୍ କରିଥିଲେ।
ସାର୍ ୟୁନିଟ୍ 2 ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ହେଇଯାଇଛି। ଏବେ 3 ହବ, ଯୋଉଟା କି ଆସେସମେଣ୍ଟ ଅଫ EIA।
Okay, that means block 1 unit 3.
ହଁ ସାର୍ 2 ଯାଏ ହେଇଯାଇଛି, ଯୋଉଟା କି EIA ପ୍ରୋସିଜିଅର ସରିଛି ସାର୍।
Okay, that means assessment of EIA ସେଇଠୁ ଆମେ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ କରିବା।
ହଁ ସାର୍
ଓକେ, ସାର୍ କେତେଟା କ୍ଲାସ୍ ନେଇଥିଲେ?
ସାର୍ ସବୁ 2ଟା କ୍ଲାସ୍ ନେଇଥିଲେ। EIA କ୍ଲାସ୍ ଟା ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଯୋଉ ୟୁନିଟ୍ ଟା ନଥିଲା କି ସାର୍,
ହୁଁ,
ସେଇଟା କରିନି ମୁଁ ତ। EIA ଉପରେ ସେତେ ଧାରଣା ନାହିଁ। ଆଜି ଟିକେ ଡେଫିନେସନ ଟା ବି କହିଦେବେ ସାର୍
ସବୁ କହିବି ଆଜି, ମୁଁ ପୁରା ବିଗିନିଂ ରୁ ହିଁ ତମକୁ ପଢେଇବି ଆଜି।
ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟିଂ ରୁ।
ହଁ, ସେ ଓଭରଅଲ୍ ପଢେଇବା, ମାନେ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟିଂ ରୁ ଆମେ
ଟିକେ ଆଇଡିଆ
ଫୁଲ୍ ତ ବ୍ରିଫଲି ଆମେ ଡିସ୍କସନ କରିଦବା, ନହେଲେ ଆମେ ପୁରା ପେପର ଟାକୁ କଭର ଅପ୍ କରିପାରିବାନି, ବିକଜ वी हैव ओनली 3 days टू कवर दिस MEV-16 पेपर। ତ
ହଁ ସାର୍
ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଆମେ ପ୍ରିଲିମିନାରୀ ଆଇଡିଆ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଆମେ କଭର ଅପ୍ କରିବା, ଦେନ୍ ଆକର୍ଡିଂଲି ମୁଭ୍ କରିବା ହେଲା।
ହଁ ସାର୍
ସୋ ଆମେ 5 to 10 ମିନିଟ୍ସ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ୱେଟ୍ କରିବା, ଦେନ୍ ପିଲାମାନେ ଜଏନ୍ କଲେ ଆମେ ଦେନ୍ ମୁଭ୍ କରିବା। ଓକେ,
ଏବେ ପ୍ରତିସ୍ମିତା ଗିରି ବୋଧେ।
ହଁ ହଁ ଠିକ୍ ଅଛି, ପିଲାମାନେ କରନ୍ତୁ, ସାଇନ୍ ଇନ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ, ଦେନ୍ ଆମେ କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁ କରିବା।
ହଁ ସାର୍
ଓକେ।
ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ।
Oh, good evening, students. Am I clearly audible to you all?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. On behalf of Regional Center IGNO Bhubaneswar, I welcome you all to this online platform. Today we will continue the left out chapters or units by Dr. Sukanta Das, um, which taught you the MEV-16 paper. And as per my information is concerned, he already covered the unit block 1, unit 2. So this paper is all about your environmental impact assessment, and this is related to different environmental projects which are submitted before different governments, central government and state government, to carry out the different projects. And depending upon the different aspect of the projects and the environmental impacts, the projects are scrutinized, they are screened, the scoping process is there, public hearing is there, environmental impact assessment is there. So on the basis of these different parameters, the proposed projects may be rejected or accepted at central or state government level. And and in this block or in this paper we will cover these aspects. So before going to the detail of the paper, let's have some basic ideas related to environment. And what do you mean by environmental impact assessment? What are the different steps? So I have one small presentation for you. Let's have that one, and after that we will discuss your syllabus, that is your PDF, which is there in the GAN course of IGNO website. So now I am presenting my screen with you. So I think my screen is now shared with you all. Is it very is clearly visible, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So I request you all to do not unmute yourself in between the discussion. And if you have any question, any queries related to the discussed topics or discussed units, so at the end of the class we will have 10 to 15 minutes of time to clarify that one. So this is just the basic concept of EIA, environmental impact assessment. So from these three words, it is very much clear that sorry, it is very much clear that this concept is related to environment, on which some impacts are imposed or impacts are there, and the impacts are assessed on the basis of various parameters. So as we know, the concept of environment, it is our surrounding of an individual organism or a community of organism, ranging on up to the entire biosphere or the zone of earth, and it is needed to sustain life. Environment is the surrounding which encompasses all the external conditions like development of or growth of people, animal and plant, the natural factor such as landform, soil, climate, vegetation, mineral, water, etc. These are all abiotic component of the environment. And some human factors like demography, economy, culture, social attitudes, etc. These are all involved in your environmental aspects. So therefore, the term environment include physical, social, cultural, economic, and aesthetic dimensions. What happened? So the physical environment, it includes both physical, chemical, biological, as well as natural, land and climate and vegetation, wildlife and natural areas, surrounding land use, physical character of the area, infrastructure, air pollution, noise pollution, water pollution. These are all involved in your physical environment. So these are the social environment, which include population density, community composition, social cohesion, educational factors, religion, norms, values, sanctions governing the people, family structure, politics, etc. The economic environment involves employment and unemployment, labor and resources of incomes. Aesthetic involve the historical, archaeological, and architectural objects or sites. These are all aesthetic environment. This is environment inventory. Like we have some financial inventory. So like this, we also have environmental inventory, which is a complete description of the environment as it exists in an area where a particular proposed action is being considered. The inventory is compiled from a check of descriptors for physical and chemical environment, biological, cultural, socioeconomic, etc. So then starts the concept that is known as EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment, which involve the assessment of proposed environmental projects on various factors and its impact on environment, that is it may have positive or negative impact on both environment and the people or human beings that resides in the vicinity of that environment. So which who are directly or indirectly suffers from that project. So on the basis of different aspects, the projects may be accepted or rejected by the concerned authority. So there are many definition of environmental impact assessment. Some of these are, this is from United States definition, an assessment of impact of planned activity on the environment. So this planned activity related to some project that you have a uh, paper that is a MEV-11 in your MSc environmental course, and in that paper you will pursue or you will perform one environmental project, and that project report is submitted to IGNOU New Delhi for your assessment. And on the basis of your project label or project report, you will face one in a viva, that is online viva will be there, and you will have the respective marks and you will clear that paper. So likewise, different agencies or different organization who are working continuously in the field of environment, they propose different projects to the central government, that is Ministry of Environmental and Forest, or our state government, depending upon the category of the project. So depending on the environmental impact assessment, the proposed projects are categorized into broadly into three types, that is category A project, category B1 project, and category B2 project. So category A projects are higher level projects which are sanctioned or approved by the central government agency, that is nothing but our Ministry of Environmental and Forest. Then category B1, this is the second level project, and this is sanctioned by the or approved by the state government. And category B2, which is The third level or third grade projects, these did not or doesn't require any approval from either governments. So EIA is the systematic process of identifying the future consequences of a current or proposed action. So EIA is nothing but a systematic process, that is by step we will access, we will scrutinize, we will screen the proposed project for acceptance or its rejection. So environmental impact assessment is a methodology or instrument of identifying, analyzing and evaluating and forecasting in advance any impact, be it positive or negative. Here it is written that it may be positive or negative, the impact which results from the implementation of the proposed project or public instruments. So depending upon the various parameters of the project proposed, the proposal may be accepted or rejected by the concerned authority. So this is your environmental impact assessment. So after this, EIA is the systematic, reproducible, and interdisciplinary evaluation of the potential effects of a proposed action and its practice alternatives on the physical, biological, cultural, and socio-economic attributes of a particular geographical area. This is according to United States Environment Protection Act 1993. So this is a systematic, reproducible, and interdisciplinary evaluation. So according to one research article that is published by the author Sadar and it's in 1994, it is a procedure for assessing the potential environmental impact of a project before it is built. That means the projects before its implementation, it is evaluated or it is assessed, it is scrutinized. The process of scrutinization is known as environmental impact, so that these impacts can be properly considered during the decision making process, and so that mitigative measures for detrimental impacts can be defined. It is a tool to use in integrated planning of development proposals, policies, and programs. So, by the environmental impact assessment, it is a tool for decision making. That means the project is decided whether it is approved or rejected, and whether it is to be moved forwarded or not. So this is also according to the same paper, that is 1994, Souther and its team, an activity which identifies, predicts, interprets, and communicates information and proposes ameliorative measures about impacts of a proposed action or development proposal on human health and well-being of the ecosystem upon which human survival depends. So this is another description or definition as proposed by the concerned author. It is also defined as a formal process for identifying the likely effect of particular activities or projects on the biogeographical environment and on human health and well-being, along with interpreting and communicating information about these likely impacts. So this is also to identify a particular activity or a project, whether it is biogeographical environment or human health, and what is its impact. So it is a management tool like economic analysis and engineering feasibility studied for official and managers who must make important decisions about major development projects. So EIA is nothing but a management tool that is before implementation of a major or minor project related to environment. So it is a decision making step whether we should go with the project or go against the project. If the project have the positive impact on the environment or the human being, then the project may be forwarded, or whether it has the negative impact, it may be rejected. So from the definition, we can understand that EIA is for projects. It is very important. Environmental impact assessment is for projects. That is, it is the proposed projects from different organization or different agencies to different governments or to different environment authorities to sanction different project funds to carry out the projects, and we have the different conclusions or different outcomes of that project. To include other things, we need strategic environmental assessment, that is SEA, that expand EIA from projects to policy, programs and plans. So after EIA, that is environmental impact assessment, then the advanced version of assessment is strategic environmental assessment, which is needed for our type A projects. So strategic environmental assessment is a systematic and comprehensive process evaluating the environmental impact of a policy, program, plan prior to their implementation. So this is a systematic and comprehensive process. In short, EIA is for project, and systematic, strategic environmental assessment is for policies, plans, and programs. That is public instruments. So SEA is for your policy, plan, and programs, and EIA is for your project. The definition of EIA though includes the impact assessment of all type of program, policy and projects, but it is more certainly applied to developmental project. Developmental project in the sense it has more or less some positive impact on the environment as well as the human being. It includes installation of a new industry, large scale animal farming project, or a power plant, or a major airport, or a major township. So these are all examples of some major projects which are carried out by the government of India or state government of different states, depending on its impact on the environment as well as the human beings. Most of the countries of the world nowadays almost mandatorily require preparation of environmental impact assessment and to get clearance from the environmental authority before they are granted permission to proceed with the designated classes of the work. So, before the implementation of the project in a particular environment, the no objection certificate, that is the clearance, is needed from the respective environmental authorities before they are granted permission to proceed with it. So, for that no objection certificate or clearance, there are some scientific or systematic procedures are there for the scrutinization or screening of the proposed project for its acceptance or its rejection. So, this is implication of EIA. So this is a systematic process which determining and managing. The managing involved identifying the impact, describing of impact, measuring the impact, predicting impact, interpreting impact, integrating, communicating, involving, and controlling. So all these parameters related to your impact, that is environmental impact due to that project, and the potential impact and which involve your direct and indirect, individual and cumulative likelihood of the occurrence of proposed human action, which involve project, plan, program, legislation, activities, etc., and their alternatives on the environment, that is physical, chemical, biological, ecological, human health, cultural, social, economic, built, and interrelation. So EIA involved all these, that is the impact of the project and the impact and its management also, which describe, measure, identify the impact, where how it can be mitigated, whether if the impact is negative, where if the impact is positive, then how it can be progressed with the project. So all these are just managing or determining platform to a project, whether it is accepted or rejected at their respective authorities. So this definition demonstrates that EIA is a process that blends numerous activities. It shows that EIA encompasses a broad definition of the environment, of alternative, and of proposed action. The systematic exploration of interrelationship is clearly crucial in EA. The interrelationship involves environmental components between the proposal, environment, and the alternatives and among impacts. So there is interrelationship between the different environmental components, the project proposal, the activity to be carried out, or there are some other alternatives are there. So all these are interrelated, and there and this EIA involves systematic exploration of these interrelationships. So all these definitions share the basic concept of EIA. So EIA is a process, as a process, EIA as a part of project planning, EIA as a proactive way of addressing environmental concern. So this environmental impact assessment, this may be treated as, this may be considered as, it is a process. Why it is a process? Because by using this process, we will access the future impact on the environment, whether it is positive or negative, it can be accessed. So EIA as a part of project planning. So before going for a project plan, we should have the mindset for the uh, environmental impact assessment process to be carried out to my project. So if my mindset is that my project will be under review or under the process of EIA, and on the basis of that, I will frame my project accordingly. That my project should have positive impact, positive effect on the environment, and it should be, yeah, my project should be progressive, that it should have positive impact on the environment. So EIA as a proactive way of addressing environmental concern, it is correct, because EIA is just a systematic tool to the environment authorities for addressing different environmental concerns that may be there in the future. So this is some historical origin of EIA. So I just read out this thing. This is the history in which year, in which country, how the EIA is developed, and how this is in a progressive way. The main objective, however, was to ensure that public safety and health were adequately protected. This is very important. That EIA involves public safety and its health. Separate documents, however, were used to be submitted to each of the regulatory agencies involved, such as the Water Authority, Air Pollution Authority, and no attempt was made in those earlier years to prepare a comprehensive overview. The separate documents nowadays are required for your different aspect of the environment. That if you go for one water related project, so you should forwarded your project to water authority and respective that is air pollution and so on. EIA of major development have been undertaken in developed countries like USA, Europe, Japan, etc. from 1950 onwards. In 1960 to 70, the environmental movement resulted in environmental groups becoming more active in many countries. Responding to the demands of these pressure groups, the government accepted the principle that citizens organization should get an opportunity to participate in the decision making process of those major developments that could have significant environmental impact. So this is implemented in your environmental impact assessment in 2004. Before it is 1994 Act in India, but in 2004 we have a new Environmental Impact Assessment Act, and in that new act this is included, that is participation of the public. Before that, there in 1994 Act no participation of the public is there, but in new EIA we have the provision of participation of the public, that is for the decision making, whether the project of the in the in the area is will be effective or not. There is one clearance from the local public, and they are participated and they gave their view. Then we have environmental impact assessment was first formally established in USA in 1969 and has since spread in various forms to most other countries. We have the that is National Environmental Policy Act 1969 in USA, was the first legislation to provide a robust framework for allowing all recognized environmental concerns to be addressed simultaneously. As a consequence, the USA enacted the first comprehensive environmental legislation, that is NEPA, on January 1st, 1970. The US action was followed by Canada. Canadian federal government established an environmental assessment and review process in 1973. Many other countries then followed these steps of these developed countries. The main objective was to ensure public safety and health. This is already covered up. The EI process has thus evolved since the early 70s. In the initial year, however, the emphasis was on accessing the impact on measurable factor, particularly those for which some prescribed standards are available. That is in central level, it is Central Pollution Control Board (CPCB) for air quality, and in our state it is SPCB, that is State Pollution Control Board, and in CPCB or SPCB there are standard parameters of different components present in air, water, etc. And by comparing the parameters to our data, we can analyze or we can have the conclusion that whether our project is environmental viable or not. After a few years, EIA began to include biological and ecological factor. So after 1970, we have some additional factors that is biological and ecological, which are included. More recently, the EIA have been broadened even further to include socio-economic factor, that is employment opportunity, cultural impact, recreational factor, so that the trade-offs among socio-economic and environmental factor could be evaluated. So it is pertinent to note that NEPA predated the 1972 United Nations Conference in Stockholm, where global concerns about the state of the environment emerged, an indicator in its own right of the mold as having the greatest international impact of any American legislation. Thus, the initiation of EIA indicates that it was environmental crisis in the industrialized countries. So, EIA is the revolution that made to the industrialized countries that that which industry or which projects is will be proceed in future, and which one should be stopped, can be banned. This is all these projects can be accessed through this parameter, that is environmental impact assessment. So for developing countries like ours, it is the right time to apply EIA proactively than after crisis learning from others. So these are the reasons why we are going to use EIA in our country. EIA has been developed as a result of the failure of traditional project appraisal technique to account for environmental impact. So in traditional project appraisal technique where manual approvals are there by concerning the different experts in the field, but nowadays ground level report are collected from from the concerned locality or concerned citizen, from different scientific datas. The ground level datas are collected, and on the basis of that the decision has been made that whether the project is going to carry out or not. Many development projects in the past were designed and constructed in isolation from any consideration of their impact on the environment, resulting in higher cost, failure of the project, significant environmental change, and negative social effects. So these are some negative impact on both environment, human, economic, etc. So basis on the basis of the different aspect or parameters of the environment, the project is accordingly assessed. So what is the aim of EIA? Despite differences in individual EIA system throughout the world, the aim is to provide decision maker with analysis of the total environment. So after analysis of the total environment of the project, the decision makers place their decision before the committee, so that decision can be made based on the nearby complete and balanced information as possible. The second aim is to assess and present intangible, unquantifiable effects that are not adequately addressed by cost benefit analysis and other technical reports. So these are the two aims of our environmental impact assessment, that is it provides decision makers with analysis of the total environment, and the second one is to assess and present intangible, unquantifiable effects. The third one is to provide information to the public. This is the new provision which is included in the 2004 amendment. That is, the public participation must be there for before the decision of the project, to formalize the consideration of alternatives to a proposal. If the proposal is somehow rejected or it is having some negative impact, then alternatives may be formulated, and it may be placed before the committee in the second attempt. So it may be considered in order that the least environmentally harmful means of achieving the given objective can be chosen. And the next one is to improve the design of new developments and safeguard of the environment through the application of mitigation and avoidance measures. So mitigation of harmful effects and avoid of some negative measures to improve the design of new development and safeguard of the environment. So what are the objectives? EIE objective can be categorized into two terms, that is long term and short term. The long term include conservation and sustainable use of natural resources. This is a long term objective, that is conservation and sustainable use. Then protection and enhancement of the quality of all life forms. Integration of environmental considerations in development planning process. So these are the few long-term objective of EIA, and the short-term are to assess the nature, intensity, and duration of impact of proposed development projects, to promote local community and public participation in the EIA process of a project. This is the short-term objective, that is participation of the public and local community, to promote social and cultural consideration in project design, to provide a methodology for prevention and mitigation of expected impact due to presence of project. So these are the some short-term objectives which may be uh, in the mindset of the project, in the project proposal. The purpose of EIA. The purpose of EIA is, and it is an aid to decision making. The same thing I just repeatedly spoken, that EIA is a tool, or it is an aid for decision making to protect our environment. The primary purpose of EIA is to ensure that impact of project, policy, or program which are adequately and appropriately considered, and mitigation measures for adverse significant impacts incorporated when decisions are taken. It is an aid for the formulation of development action, that is positive action, by protecting our environment as well as the human health and safety. So many developers no doubt see EIA as another set of hurdles to jump before they can proceed with their various activities. So for the the investigator of the principal investigator of the project, what happened? Now EIA is treated as a hurdle to them. So by jumping that hurdle, the project is sanctioned and they do their different activities. The process can be seen as yet another costly and time consuming activity in the permission process. However, EIA can be of great benefit to them since it can provide a framework for considering location and design issue and environmental issues in parallel. So EIA just um, EIA EIA just put a framework before the person who proposed this proposal, that is project proposal, which parallelly thinking the environmental issues, its design issues, and the location in which or at which the project is supposed to be formulated. So it is also an instrument for sustainable development of the environment. Underlining of such immediate purpose is, of course, the central and ultimate role of EIA as one of the instruments to achieve sustainable development. Development that doesn't cost the earth, that is very important. That development in cost of earth, it is not at all acceptable. So the positive development which have the environment as well as human health prosper, so that type of project are accepted. Generally, the primary and secondary purposes of EIA include safeguarding valued ecological process and heritage areas, avoiding irreversible and unacceptable loss and deterioration of natural capital, ensuring development is adjusted to the potential and capacities of the resource base, optimizing natural resource use, conservation and management opportunities, protecting human health and community well-being, addressing distributional concern related to disruption of people and traditional lifestyle. So these are all some primary and secondary purposes of our environment impact assessment. So I think you have some ideas, uh, that is what is EIN and what is its aim, objective and purpose. And some misconceptions are there related to EIA, and the misconceptions are just people think that EIA is too complex, that this is a very complicated or complex process, that our project may or may not be accepted. It is too expensive. It is delayed projects. EIA delays projects. EIA will be misused to stop development. So these are all misconceptions. Just remember, EIA is a tool or aid for decision making of the respective authority to protect our environment and to protect the human safeguard. So another misconception is it's just an add-on and occur too late to do any good. We are too poor to afford EIA. This is also a misconception. EIA doesn't produce useful result. So these are some misconceptions among the authors of the different projects or the principal investigators. So these misconceptions should be detached, should be avoided for placing the projects to the authority. So I just it is too expensive. This is not true. Cost of EIR commonly around 1%, sometime if 5% of the complex cases of project cost, often with the normal variability of the project cost. So the whatever your project cost, only 1% is required for your EIA assessment. EIA is often result in cost saving through reduced changes to the project at later stages or through identification of easier and a more efficient way to meet project goals. EIA should be carried out efficiently, just like any other part of the planning process. So it is not too expensive. It is just an add-on and occur too late to do any good. Now this is also wrong. So depend upon your project size, the project, your project proposal take time accordingly, and your assessment and your screening is accordingly done. EIA delays project, it is also misconception. It is too complex. I just skip these slides. What are the characteristics of a good EIA? This may be a question in your term and examination. That is characteristics of a good environmental impact assessment. The characteristics of EIA, that typical parameters to be taken into account in impact prediction and decision making include its nature of the project, that is it is positive, negative, direct or indirect impact is there. The magnitude, whether your impact is severe, moderate or low magnitude. Then the extent, location that is area or volume covered or dirt distribution. So on these parameters, your EIA depends, and the timing that is during construction, operation, decommissioning, immediate, delayed, rate of change, etc. So time is a major factor for the determination of the project standard or project level. The duration, whether it is short term, long term, intermediate term, or continue, it is a continuous process. Reversibility and irreversibility, whether it is recyclable or not. Likelihood, so probability, uncertainty, or confidence in the prediction. And the last one is the significance to the local, regional, or at global level. So these are the some factors on which the EIA is carried out. So for a good EIA process, that is a good environmental impact assessment process, these all parameters are taken into account, and accordingly the authority place their report whether your project is accepted or rejected at their level. So there are some legal and regulatory framework of EIA related to policies, strategies, laws, etc., standard, convention, proclamations, etc. So a policy. So these are plan of action adopted by an individual or social group, or a line of argument rationalizing the course of action of a government. Strategy, it is an elaborate and systematic plan of action. So this is an elaborate and systematic plan. Laws, the collection of rule imposed by authority, it is law. Guideline, a detailed plan or explanation to guide you in setting standard or determining a course of action. These are all guidelines. Or guidelines may be a rule or principle that provides to appropriate behavior. Standard, this is just the reference, you can say, a basis of comparison. Standard is for your comparison that in Central Pollution Control Board, these are the parameters for our water or air sample, which is acceptable, and these are the data we have collected in our sample. So this is known as the standard. So the parameters or the data to which we just compare our data, a reference point against which other things can be evaluated, the ideal in terms of which something can be judged. Legal framework established by founded upon law or official or accepted rules, convention and international agreement, proclamation, a formal public statement. So these are all different legal and regulatory framework of environmental impact assessment. So what EIA needs? It needs policy making body, legislation body, directives, that is some rules and regulations, enforcement if needed, coordination of the different authorities, ministries and bodies that are involved. This is very important. That is correlation or coordination is needed for EIA. It is also imperative to know or define who conducts EIA. So before placing your project to the concerned department or concerned or authority, you should know that whom to place your project, that is who conducts your EIA, who will review your EIA, which projects need EIA. This is very important that your project belongs to category A, B1 or B2 type. If your project is category A, it must be placed before Ministry of Environment and Forest. If it is B1, then it is state government. If it is B2, it doesn't require any EIA, that means it is rejected. So what or which are the guidelines, norms, etc. to prepare EIA? All the above mentioned points require a well-established legal system pertaining to environmental impact of development activities in a country or region. So these are some points to know about EIA. International banks requirement. I just see here the regional development banks such as the European Bank of Reconstruction and Development, the African Development Bank and Asian Development Bank all have environmental policies and guidelines which in most respects resemble those of the World Bank policy. And here it is written that a regional development bank use environmental screening to place projects as category A, B, C. In our country, it is A, B1, B2 or category 1, 2, 3. These categories are similar in principle to those of the World Bank with only minor differences between each bank. So these banks are also categorize different projects on the basis of their impacts. In our country, we have the categorization of A, B1 and B2. So this is the declaration of EIA. The principle of the 1972 Stockholm Declaration did not expressly identify EIA as an instrument of national or international policy. It did not express. However, the rationale underlying EIA can be identified the principle 14, which states rational planning constitutes an essential tool for reconciling development and environment needs. In the same spirit, Principle 15 reads, planning must be applied to human settlements and urbanization with a view to avoid adverse effect on environment and obtain maximum social, economic and environmental benefits for all. So these are some principles of our Stockholm Declaration related to EIA. Then Agenda 21 of paragraph this and these, which comprehensive analytical procedure for prior and simultaneous assessment of the impact of decision, including their environmental impact and assessment of cost, benefit and risks, and the systematic application of technique and procedure for assessing environmental impact. EIA is also encouraged in specific Agenda 21 programs, including deforestation, conservation of biodiversity, and management of biotechnology. So these are all some parameters or some criteria, or we can say it is as a scale to determine the impact of the project. Agenda 21 support the need of individual, group or organization to participate in EIA. Then World Bank, we know that in Odisha, many projects are carried out by are funded by the World Bank, depending on its viability and its EIA report. And as I am belongs to an academic institution, so I know in Odisha various colleges and various universities they are funded by the World Bank, and some projects like RUSA, that is Rashtriya Uच्च Shiksha Abhiyan, RUSA. The project is funded by World Bank, and some crores of rupees are funded to the state government, that is Odisha government, and the Odisha government is distributing the fund to different academic institutions like in colleges and universities to improve or to develop the infrastructure, to develop the library, to develop the educational standard of the students. So for this, so this is also a project, and this project is placed by state government, that is Odisha government, to the World Bank to uh, to be funded for this noble cause. that is the education to the students. So like this, different projects are assessed on the basis of EIA, and on the basis of the EIA report, different funding agencies sponsor different projects to the concerned uh, concerned person or concerned organization. World Bank, the safeguard policies of the bank are operationalizing the do good approach to the bank investment lending operation are fundamental in meeting the three pillars of the World Bank, that is improving quality of life, improving quality of growth, protecting the quality of the regional and global common. This is very important. Protecting the quality of the regional and global commons. That means the originality of the region must not be deteriorated, must not be hampered by this project. So that is one pillar of the World Bank, right? So environmental assessment, one of the 10 safeguard policy used in the bank to examine potential environmental risks and benefits associated with bank investment lending operation and so on. I just skip these slides, and I just there is physical cultural resources. Let's go through this one. I will share this PPT with you, students. Don't worry. Then yes, Convention of Environmental Impact Assessment in a transboundary context. That means in this is a global view of environmental impact assessment. Uh, that is irrespective of the boundaries between different countries. That is known as transboundary context. So environmental threat do not respect national border. Government have realized that to avoid this danger, they must notify and consult each other on all major protect projects under consideration that might have adverse environmental impact across border. So this is a ESPO 1991 convention bringing together all stakeholders to prevent environmental damage before it occurs. The convention occurred in 1997. The ESPO EIA Convention set out the obligation of parties to assess the environmental impact of concerned activities and early stage of planning. It also laid down the general obligation of states to notify and consult each other on all major projects under consideration that are likely to have a significant adverse environmental impact across boundaries. So ESPO EIA is related to global view of EIA, irrespective of the individual country. It it is the assessment beyond boundaries, beyond international boundaries. So this is your ESPO EIA. Then the framework of EIA in Ethiopia. Just read out these things. I will share with you. I just keep these things. This is all related to your environmental impact assessment. This is a legal framework in Ethiopia. This is some articles. Environmental right. All persons have the right to live in a clean and healthy environment. All persons who have been displaced or whose livelihood have been adversely affected because of state programs have the right to commensurate monetary or alternative means of compensation, including relocation with adequate state assistance. That we already seen that if like in Jharsuguda in Odisha, Vedant plant is the project is there, and during that period the local people get they are relocated to different locations, and they also in competition they uh, they just got done some jobs in that Vedant plant, and so they have some also some uh, monetary profits are there. So these things are there. So Article 92, government shall endeavor to ensure that all Ethiopians live in a clean and safety. Just I skip this one. So national environment policy and strategy. So a national environmental policy, conservation strategy as well as regional conservation strategy provide a number of guiding principles that indicates and require strong adherence to sustainable development concerning the needs of EIA. The following basic issues are contained indicated in these documents. I just skip this thing. This is not required. This is Ethiopian. Okay. So guiding principle. So before going for a project, we should have early application. Then the participation is there, that appropriate and timely access of the opportunity to the process for all interested and affected parts. Issues based, the EA, that is environmental assessment, is on the resolution of major issues of significant impact. There must be alternatives, must be proposed to the investigator. There must be accountability, that refers to answerability of proponent, consultant, and environmental agency for their respective roles and responsibility. There must be flexibility, credibility, time and cost effectiveness, transparency must be there, supportive suggestions must be there, conservation based um, drives must be there, then practicability. What is the benefit of EIA? It's saving in capital and operating cost, environmentally sound and sustainable design, increase project acceptance, facilitate better decision, better compliance with standard, better protection of the environment and human health. So these are the some benefits of our environmental assessment. These may not require the elaboration. You just these are very simple to understand. So this is the PPT I have related to EIA, which cover some basic aspect of environmental impact assessment. So if I go for your PDF, that is this one. This is a PDF I have, and so these are some historical aspect of EIA already covered up. So some objective of EIA, just this is the principle, that is participation, transparency, certainty, accountability, credibility. Already we have discussed, and this is development in India. How EIA is formulated in 2006. EIA, the first notification was made in 1994, Ministry of Environment and Forest, and then a new one, that is a revised one, it is in September 2006, and there are in 1994 notification. This is the first notification related to EIA, and in 2006 September we have the revised form. Some new the new laws are amended, and with respect to 1994, in 2006 the power of the government is decentralized, that depending on the category of the project, it can be evaluated by different governments. So before that, that is in 1994, only central government is have the right to scrutinize or to access the project, but in 2006 the power gets decentralized, and also the public participation, which is the major factor, which is not there in 1994. It is included in 2006. So these are two major implementation of rules in 2006 environmental impact assessment. So here it is written. Here it is written. It is it is broadly classified into A and B type. So A is the major projects which is scrutinized and it is assessed by the central government, and B type it is the state level environment. It is B type. So in short, it is SEIAA, that is State Level Environment Impact Assessment Agency, and for category A, it is Ministry of Environment and Forest. Just remember these things. And here, just see that here one thing is there, that is a State Expert Appraisal Committee under our SEIAA, and we have also Expert Appraisal Committee at the central. So for category A type, we have Ministry of Environmental and Forest. Under this ministry, we have the committee, that is Expert Appraisal Committee ESC, and under for category B, we have State Environmental Impact Assessment Agency SEIAA, and in that agency we have the committee, that is SEAC, State Expert Appraisal Committee. Then public hearing was conducted in SPCB and also in CPCB, Union Territory. It is now changed to our Central Pollution Control Board, CPCB. So for our project assessment, we have some scientific, we can say, or some technical steps are there through which the project must be run, and on the basis of their the different reports from the different stage, the project final decision is made. Stage 1 is for your screening. Screening means it is depending on the theme of the project, the dimension, the cost of the project. It is classified into two types, A and B, and B is again classified into B1 and B2. So for B1, EIA is required at state level. B2, EIA is not required. It is not required means it is a very low cost project, and it is have some EI, environmental protection viabilities. So that's why first step is your screening process. After screening, the step 2 is your scoping. This is the term of reference is decided. So it is the scoping is done by the reviewing committee. According to 2006, the authority will decide the term of references. The decision will be based on information provided by the proponent in Form 1. That means the information provided by the proponent in Form 1. It is now reviewed by the committee and the term of references are decided. Stage 3, that is included in 2006 provision, that is it is newly amended after 1994 notification. So it is public participation, that the concerned public or the local citizen which reside at the area at which the project is supposed to be proposed. So the local citizen has have the right for their voice, whether they will suffer or they will have some benefit for in that project or not. So their participation is mandatory now. So public hearings are conducted before the preparation of final EI report. So before the final report, public hearing is conducted. This is an improvement to 1994. This step is 2006 notification has been made more regressive than in 1994. Then stage 4 is appraisal of EIS. The project belonging to B2 are appraised based on the information submitted in Form 1 and option site visits. This is optional site visit for B2 type, where EIA is not required. The public do not have any role to play in this project because this project have very small projects, so public participation is not required. For project which require the EIA to be submitted, the final EIS submitted concerned authority, that is Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change for category A, and State Environmental Assessment Agency for B1. So you should remember these things, that for project A it is MOEFCC, and for project B1 type it is SEAA, and for project B2 type the information submitted in form A, it is assessed by the appraisal committee, and the final EIA report is prepared accordingly. So next we have the EIA procedure. This is already discussed by Sushant sir. Just what is the screening, how it is screening is done, what is scoping, and what is the public participation is there, public involvement, and how is the appraisal is mm, made. So these are all your descriptive type. Just I skip this one also. Just see this is a table, that is data required, basis of estimation, environmental parameter. For example, if the project is for water quality, then the data required for DO, BOD, COD, and this is a present water quality, that is basis of estimation, that is the sampling or the water sample we have. For air quality, we have particulate matter, SPM, RSPM, rate of emission, wind rose, etc. For soil, it is your salinity, soil type, solid waste, etc. For noise, socio-economic, natural, all these have related to some environmental parameters, and all can be included in environmental projects. Impact analysis and prediction. So we have the analysis part, identification, prediction, and evaluation. Three stages are there. The first stage is to identify the impact, first one. Second one, its prediction, that it is what is its magnitude, duration, and level of the impact, already discussed in that PowerPoint, and how it can be mitigated or how it can be stopped. It is under our evaluation step. Okay. So I have also another PPT is there. This one. This is global environmental issues and overview. I just skip these things. Just see this one. This is Bhopal gas tragedy, which was accidentally held in 1986, December 3rd. Sorry, 1984, 3rd of December, due to leakage of methyl isocyanate gas, that is MIC, in Union Carbide pesticide plant. Over 10,000 death in the first 3 days. Additional 25,000 people died of related injuries. So this is in Indian history. This is one of the biggest industrial accident supposed to be held due to human error, we can say, or anthropogenic error, where where more than 50,000 people died due to direct or indirect impact. So to avoid this type of accidents or this type of tragedies, the EIA must be implemented very strictly in every with respect to every project that are proposed to different authorities. So these are some consequences of Bhopal gas tragedy. Just see, these are some paralyzed lakes. These are disease. Babies are there with some eye disease. Animals get fainted. So these are the consequences of our that is methyl isocyanate gas. So under Environmental Protection Act 1994, the EIA notification was issued and it is for screening. In 2006, the notification was issued that is substituted the first one, that is 1994. I just see this slide. This is a very interesting slide. This is, students, am I audible? Whether everything is okay till now?
Yes, sir, audible.
Okay, bro. Thank you. So this is a very interesting slide. Just see, environmental lab medical report. The name of the patient is Earth, our Mother Earth. She is the patient, and her age is 3.5 billion years. What is the disease? The disease is P game syndrome. That capital P game syndrome, and that P involves pollution, pesticide, population explosion, politics, poverty, and POPs. POPs means it is organic. What is the full form of POP? It is, I think, just wait, I search. POP. POP environment. Environment. So POP is says it is organic pollutant, persistent organic pollutant. So these are the some P's, that is pollution, pesticide, population explosion, politics, poverty, and POPs, persistent organic pollutants. So the patient name is Mother Earth. Her age is 3.5 billion years, and these are the disease she is suffering. The name of the virus which is attacked, it is human virus, human being. So due to the activities by the human, this disease is caused to our Mother Earth. What are the symptoms? That is loss of biosphere, loss of natural resources, increase in temperature, failure of monsoon, loss of human health. So what is the laboratory analysis? That is, what are the tests we have? High concentration pollutant in soil, water, and air. Large number of pathogenic organisms are there due to human activity. What are the treatment required? Ecological balance, sustainable development, prevention of pollution, need-based utilization. And what is the final report or recovery we have? By 2047 expected, we will have a clean, green, and beautiful earth we have. It is expectation, and this is just a medical report of our Mother Earth nowadays. So due to some human activity, our mother is suffering so much, and this report is just highlighting all this. And just I just I just have one slide for you. Just wait. Related to, no, this is not. So these are some major environmental laws in India. The Water Act 1974, Water Cess Act 1974 again, Air Act 1981, environmental protection 1986. Do not miss this one. And you as a environmental student, you should remember this act in 1986, Environmental Protection Act, EPA. The Public Liability Insurance 1991, National Environment Tribunal 1995, National Green Tribunal 2010. So these are some sections. Just I skip all these are there in your book. Yes, I just want to see this slide. Environmental clearance process. That means if a project is placed before the authority, and how and by what process, what are the different stages in the process for its clearance. That is how we can get the no objection certificate from the concerned authority. Just see, we have environmental impact assessment as well as environmental management plan. If the impact is hazardous, then some management measures must be taken. So this involve in your environmental management plan. So underlining basis, spirit and preamble, that is protect environment and control pollution. Environment Protection Act 1986 in the month of May. Environment Protection Rule 1986 in the month of November. Then EIA came 1994 after the Rio Declaration. It is very important. After Rio Declaration, it is 1994 EIA came, and in 2006 the 1994 notification is again reformulated and new amendments are added. This is broad criteria or categorization of project under 2006. That is scale of impact, that is a dimension, severity of impact, nature of the location. Based on above, certain categories of activities have been identified. Whether your project is under A, then MOEF and CC clearance will be required. If your project is under B, then state level clearance will be required. That is SEIAA clearance will be required, and here it is your MOEF CC NOC will be required. Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And this is the preamble I just read out. Copies of the said notice were made available in 15 September 2005. Objection and suggestion received in response of the above mentioned draft notification has been duly considered by Government of India. Then Government of India hereby direct that on and from the date of its publication, 14 September 2006, this is the preamble, that required construction of new projects or activities or the expansion or modernization of existing project or activities listed in the schedule to this notification entailing capacity addition with change in process and technology shall be undertaken in any part of India only after the prior environmental clearance. Very important. Prior environmental clearance. So after you get the NOC, no objection certificate from the concerned authority, you may go for the project if from the central government, or as the case may be state government, Environmental Implement Impact Assessment Authority SEIAA, duly constituted by central government under section 3 of the section 3 of the said act in accordance with the procedure specified here in after in this notification. So this is the preamble of our EIA 2006. So this is the categorization. I just keep this one. Just see this layout. Category of projects. This is project A, project B. Project A, it is directly to the executive committee to be accorded by Minister of Environment and Forest. Category B, it is directed to state government. So if in category B some technical requirements are there or some high level decision are to be made, then that category B can be forwarded to the EC condition, fulfillment of the EC condition, then after that it may be forwarded to MOEF, and this is approved at the MOEF level. Which projects required executive committee? The project listed in Schedule 2 notification AB requires a EC. All new projects or activities listed in Schedule 2 this notice. Expansion and modernization of existing project or activities listed in Schedule to this notice. Any change in product mix in an existing manufacturing unit included in schedule. So these are some criteria which requires EC, environmental clearance. Okay, environmental clearance is required. So requirement of environmental clearance. So for category A, it is the central government MOEF. For category B, it is SCIA, already discussed. So this is state level environmental impact assessment authority. So this is comprising of minimum 3 members, the chairman and a member, secretary to be nominated by the state government or the union territory administration. So there are 3 members. One is chairman, secretary, and one member of environment impact assessment authority, that is related to a person which is environmental master. So rules for membership of SEIAA: all decision taken by SEIAA should be unanimous and taken in a meeting. And this is the expert committee of our environmental assessment committee, appraisal committee at the central level, and this is state expert appraisal committee at the state or union territory level. And these committees are responsible for screening, scoping, and appraising project, procedure for selection and maintenance of ESC and SESC is given in notification. So these are the high level committees who decide whether the project is what type of project and whether it is uh, accepted or rejected at their level. So 3 members of state committee to be constituted by MOEF in all state and union territories. MOEF to constitute ESC at central level and SCSC at state level for screening, scoping, and appraisal of project. Constitute a combined SCSC for more than one state union territory with prior concurrence of interstate projects. Time period is 3 years. ESC and SCSC may inspect screening, scoping, and appraisal. Then again, the unanimous views of the committee to prevail the decision. So these are some membership of ESC and SCSC with some activities and criteria for a project to be approved. Application for prior environmental clearance. An application seeking prior environmental clearance in all cases shall be made in the prescribed Form 1 and supplementary Form 1A after the identification of prospective site, after identification of activities, submit pre-feasibility report for all and conceptual plan for construction activities. So there are different annexures in the application which is to be filled up by the concerned proponent for the proposal to be placed before ESC or SCSC at central or state level, and they will thoroughly review, scrutinize, scope, screen your project proposal, and accordingly your project is accepted, rejected at their level. The stages of clearance, again the same. There are 4 stages. The screening is there, that is the categorization A, B1 or B2 type. Scoping is there, that is term of reference. Then public consultation, that is public review. Then after the final appraisal report is prepared for your environmental clearance. So this is the description, that is screening step, that is the categorization of your project. This is scoping, this is related to your term of reference, okay, which is decided by the ESC or ACSC depending upon your type of project, and addressing all environmental concern for preparation of environmental impact assessment report, which is based on the basis of the information furnished by applicant in the form proposed by the applicant, and a site visit will be there, okay, by a subgroup of ESC or ACSC if considered necessary. If they consider if it is necessary to for a site visit of the project, then they may go for a visit, and after the visit and the application submitted by the applicant, the final decision is made. It is three is public consultation, and it is a revolutionary uh, step taken by government of India in 2006 to involve the local people for a project to be considered or not. It is a process by which the concern of local affected person and other who have plausible stake in the environmental impact of the project or activity are ascertained. All category A and B1 project activities shall undergo public consultation. So B2 is not included in public consultation stage, but A and B1 they are undergo public consultation. Then after public consultation, applicants shall address all environmental concerns expressed during this process, make appropriate changes in the draft of EIA. Final EIA report shall be submitted by the applicant to the concerned regulatory authority for appraisal. Stage 4 is related to the appraisal step, that is detailed scrutiny by the ESC or SCSC. The documents like final EIA report is placed, outcome of the public consultation is placed in the public proceeding hearing, submitted by the applicant, that is the application for a grant of environmental clearance. So three things are there. One is EIA report, number two is public hearing proceeding, number three is the application which is submitted by the applicant. So these three things are major documents which is to be uh, produced for the environmental clearance, grant of environmental clearance. Then appraisal of all projects or activities which are not required to undergo public consultation, that is B2 type. For B2, we have the application form 1, one additional form, that is form 1A, and any other relevant information document may be produced. And at the end, there is grant or rejection of environmental clearance, that is the no objection certificate. The regulatory authority shall consider the recommendation of ESC or SESC concerned and conveyed its decision to the applicant. The regulatory authority shall normally accept the recommendation of the expert committee. So the expert committee decision may be regarded as the final decision, and which is normally accepted by the government. In cases where it disagree with the recommendation of the expert committee, the regulatory authorities shall request reconsideration of the central or state expert appraisal committee. So this is just the disagreement between the expert committee and the government. After consideration, irrespective of views of expert committee, decision of the regulatory authority concerned shall be final. So the authority decision is the final after reconsideration if it is disagreed. So validity for river valley projects it is 10 years. For mining project the validity is 30 years. For other projects, the validity is 5 years. So area development project and township, the validity periods are limited only to such activities as may be the responsibility of the applicant as a developer. So these are the validity or the tenure of the environmental clearance or no objection certificate of the project. We have 10 years for water projects, 30 years for mining project, and 5 years for other projects. Then post environmental clearance monitoring, mandatory for the project management to submit half yearly compliance report in respect of stipulated prior environmental clearance terms. So after you get the environmental clearance from the respective governments, uh, you must submit a half yearly, that is 6-month compliance report of your project, how it is proceed and what are the outcomes you have in every half yearly duration. Then we have EIA aspect to be studied, that land use. These are the aspects which are studied for environmental impact assessment report. That is what type of land is used for that project, how air is polluted and it can be prevented or controlled, air quality modeling, water, ecology and biodiversity, noise and vibration, socioeconomic, hydrology and hydrogeology, geology, soil conservation, risks and hazard, solid and hazardous waste. So these are some aspects which are studied during environmental impact assessment report. So in the next class we will continue from this. Okay. So today we just have the basic knowledge of EIA. What are the different type of projects? What are the authorities or the organization involved for its acceptance or rejection of that project, and how the project is undergoing different stages for its environmental clearance and so on. And now the platform is now open to students for any clarification or question you have. And just remember, like this national or state level project, you also have a project paper in your fourth semester, and in that project paper also you just place a project proposal to the regional center Bhubaneswar for its approval. So if your project proposal is approved at the regional center, then you go for your final project work and then final project report, which will be submitted to the New Delhi IGNOU. Okay, so your project work and this environmental impact assessment of the proposed project by the proponent, it is more or less same. Okay, and here the in your MEV-16, here the approving authority is executive committee by central government or state executive committee by state government. For your IGNOU, it is the regional center which is the executive committee for you for that project paper. So this is more or less same. And for your accessing of the or screening of your project proposal at regional center level, the project proposal is sent to an expert at university or college level, and the expert is assessed your project, its feasibility, viability, its practicability, whether the project is feasible or not, whether it can be practical, its practical prospects, etc. So on the basis of that, your project proposal may be accepted or rejected at expert level. And after that, if your project is approved, then you are allowed to do your project and submit the project report within 3 months. Okay. So for today this much is from my side, and now the platform is open to you guys. So if anyone or any uh, student have any query, question, or anything to share, or anything to ask related to today's class or any other thing you have, uh, please ask me, and if I have the answer, I will definitely answer that. So now it is on you, students. Now,
Hello,
Hello.
who is she?
hello,
Sosmita Pal.
Shushmita.
Susmita, yes, yes. Please.
Sir, your phone number.
My phone number. I just type my phone number in the chat box. Just note down it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hello.
One by one. So next one is,
Sir, will you share PDF, please?
yes, yes. I will share the PDF in the last end of this discussion. That is in on 27th September. I will share all the PDFs. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hello.
We see Raj Roja
Roger
Rani Patro. हाँ हाँ.
ସାର୍ ଆଜି ଯୋଉ ଆପଣ କ୍ଲାସ କଲେ ଆସେସମେଣ୍ଟ ଅଫ EIA ୟୁନିଟ୍ 3 ର କେତେ କୋଉ ୟୁନିଟ୍ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ କଲେ ସାର୍ ୟୁନିଟ୍ 3?
ने ମୁଁ ଆଜି ତମର ଯେତିକି ପଢେଇଛି, ହ୍ୱାଟ ଏଭର ଆଇ ଟଟ୍ ଟୁ ୟୁ ଟୁଡେ, ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ଦ ଓଭରଅଲ୍। ଯଦି ଏଠି ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା ତମର MEV-16 ର ଅଲମୋଷ୍ଟ ଲାଷ୍ଟ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ମୁଁ କଭର ଅପ୍ କରିଦେଲି ଆଜି,
ହଁ
କିନ୍ତୁ
ସାର୍
ଆମେ ୱାନ୍ ବାଇ ୱାନ୍ କାଲିଠୁ ଆମେ ୟୁନିଟ୍ ବାଇ ୟୁନିଟ୍ ଯିବା, ଆଣ୍ଡ ଯୋଉ ଜିନିଷଟା ଆମର କଭର ହେଇନଥିବ ଆମେ ସେ PDF ରୁ ସେଟାକୁ ସର୍ଟ ଆଉଟ୍ କରିବା ହେଲା। ଆଜି
yes
ମୁଁ
sir.
ତମକୁ ଯେତିକି କହିଦେଇଛି, ଓଭରଅଲ୍ ତମର history of EIA, what is EIA, how it is implemented, what are the agencies involved in EIA, how the environmental clearance is made, all these things ମୁଁ concise way or brief way ରେ ତମକୁ describe କରିଦେଇଛି।
Yes
and
sir.
ଆଜି first class ରେ ମୁଁ ତମକୁ କେବଳ the different words that are there in environmental impact assessment, like screening, scoping, public hearing, appraisal, environment clearance, executive committee, state executive committee, MOEF, SEIAA, these all words ତମ କାନରେ ଆଜି ବାଜିଗଲା।
Yes sir.
ସୋ ତମେ ଜାଣିଲ ଏଇ ୱାର୍ଡ ଅଛି, ସେ ବିଷୟରେ ତମେ ଜାଣିଲା ପରେ ତମେ ଇଜିଲି ସେଟା ଲେଖିପାରିବ।
Yes sir.
ଓକେ,
Yes sir.
ସୋ
ହଁ
ଆଜି
sir.
ମୁଁ ଓଭରଲି ତମକୁ କହିଦେଇଛି, ଆଣ୍ଡ ଆମେ ୟୁନିଟ୍ ୱାନ୍ ବାଇ ୱାନ୍ ଆମେ ନେକ୍ସଟ କାଲିଠାରୁ ଦେଖିବା, ଆଣ୍ଡ ଯୋଉ ୟୁନିଟଟା କଭର ଅପ୍ ହେଇଯାଇଛି ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ଓକେ, ଆଣ୍ଡ ଯୋଉଟା ଆମର ଅଲରେଡି କିଛି ଡିସ୍କସନ ବାକି ଥିବ ସେଇଟା ଆମେ କରିବା ହେଲା।
Yes sir. Yes sir. Thank you. Thank you.
ଓକେ, ଏନିୱାନ୍?
Sir,
ଅଜିତ,
this is Ajit, sir. Actually,
ଓକେ।
sir, if I want for new project, then I have to submit this EIA, sir, na? To whom, sir? Where is
No,
the office
no,
actually?
no, no. Office means you just go to MEV-16 website. Okay. Nowadays online submission are there. Just you go to MEV-16 website. Just see the website. Create your own login ID, user ID, and password. Then you have the home page. In the home page you have the access to propose your proposal, that is in the online form is there. If you are interested for offline, then some email IDs are there, you may send your proposal to that email ID. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sir, how will the project be classified A or B1 or
No,
B2?
the categorization will be made by the concerned authority, not you.
Okay.
It is if like the project is Vedant project, the project is Steel Authority of India Limited. So that type of projects which are massive dimension, they have a big turnover, they have very high financial cost. That type of projects that are involved in million of dollars or some crores. So that type of projects involve category A, which are decided by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. So anything else?
Sir, प्रणाम।
Nirakar Jena.
Sir,
Namaskar,
प्रणाम।
namaskar. Oh,
Sir,
हाँ.
ମୁଁ ଜାଣିନଥିଲି sir assignment sir ଏବେ କରୁଛି ମୋ ସରିନି sir ଏବେ ତ ପରେ sir କଲେ 30 ତାରିଖ ହେଇଗଲାଣି ହେଇଯିବ ଏବେ ମୁଁ sir ସରିବନି ତା ପରେ ସବମିଟ କଲେ sir ଚଳିବ କି sir?
ମତେ ଆଉ ଟିକେ କ୍ଲିୟରଲି କୁହ,
ପରୀକ୍ଷା
ତମର ଆଡମିସନ ଇୟର କେବେ?
ମୋର 2024 ଜାନୁଆରୀ ଆଡକୁ।
ଓକେ, 24 ମାନେ ତମର ଫ୍ରେଶ ଅଛି। ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ କଣ ଅଛି?
ମୁଁ 30 ତାରିଖ ଭିତରେ ଡିପୋଜିଟ୍ କରିବା ବୋଲି ମୁଁ ଜାଣିନଥିଲି ଏବେ ଏବେ ଜାଣୁଛି କିନ୍ତୁ sir ମୁଁ ତା ପରେ କଲେ ଚଳିବ 30 ତାରିଖ ପରେ ସବମିଟ କଲେ ଚଳିଯିବ?
I expect the date will be extended to 15th of October. ଆଉ 15 ଦିନ ତମକୁ ଏକ୍ସଟେଣ୍ଡ ମିଳିବ ହେଲା।
ଆଜ୍ଞା।
But you should try to submit it by 30th of September. It is good for you. ଆହୁରି 5 ଦିନ ଅଛି, ତମେ ଲେଖିକି ଦେଇପାରିବ, କିଛି ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ନାହିଁ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା।
ଓକେ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା। ଆଜ୍ଞା।
हेलो।
Thank you, sir.
ନମସ୍କାର, ସୁସ୍ମିତା ପାଲ again.
ନମସ୍କାର ସାର୍।
ନମସ୍କାର।
ସାର୍ ମୋର ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟଟା ମୁଁ ସେପ୍ଟେମ୍ବର 2ରେ ପଠେଇ ଦେଇଛି, ତ ସେଇଟା ସେପ୍ଟେମ୍ବର 5ରେ ଆକ୍ସେପ୍ଟେଡ୍ ହେଇଛି ବାଇ ରେଭେନ୍ସା କଲେଜ। ତ ଏଇଟା କ'ଣ ଚାଲିବ ସାର୍? କାରଣ ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟଟା ବି ତ ଏଇ ଆଡ୍ରେସରେ ଯାଇଥିଲା।
ତମର ଆଡମିସନ ଇୟର କେବେ?
ଜାନୁଆରୀ 24।
ସୋ ତମର ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟର ମାର୍କ ଅପଡେଟ ହେଲାନି ଗ୍ରେଡ୍ କାର୍ଡରେ?
ସାର୍ ଏବେ
ଯୋଉଟା
ତ
ସବମିଟ
ସେମିତି
କରିଥିଲ?
ଆସିନି, ଖାଲି ମୁଁ MEV-12 ଆଉ MEV-13ର ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ ନମ୍ବର ଜାଣିପାରିଛି, ସେଇଟା ତ ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ସେମିଷ୍ଟରର।
ଆଉ 11 ଆଉ 14?
11ଟା ଆସିନି ସାର୍। ଏବେ ମୋର 14, 15, 16ଟା ଏବେ ଦିଆହେବ, ଆଉ MEV-11।
Okay, so you students are instructed to submit your assignment only in regional center Bhubaneswar, because the Revensa Study Center is now closed from January 2024. So now your study center is moved to regional center Bhubaneswar.
ସାର୍
Okay.
ତାହେଲେ ସେଟା କ'ଣ ହେବ? ଆଉ ଥରେ ଲେଖିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ ମୋତେ?
ସେଇଟା ତମେ ବେଟର ହବ ରିଜନାଲ ସେଣ୍ଟର ସହିତ କଣ୍ଟାକ୍ଟ କର, ବେଟର ହବ ହେଲା। କାରଣ ହଉଛି ରେଭେନ୍ସାରେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଇଗ୍ନୋ ସେଣ୍ଟର ଆଉ ନାହିଁ, and all correspondence of MSc environmental program is with RC Bhubaneswar IGNO. Okay.
ଓକେ ସାର୍,
Okay.
ନମସ୍କାର ସାର୍।
ନମସ୍କାର, ନମସ୍କାର। So I think all the queries are over now. So may I wind up the session for today's class?
Yes, sir.
Roja Rani again. Okay.
Sir, assignment 14, 15 ର marks ଆସିନି sir, update ହେଇନି।
କୋଉଠି ସବମିଟ କରିଥିଲ?
Sir, RC ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱର।
ଠିକ ଅଛି, ହେଇଯିବ, କିଛି ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ନାହିଁ। ଟିକେ କିଛି ତାଙ୍କର ଅଫିସିଆଲ ପ୍ରୋସେସିଂ ଟିକେ ଲେଟ୍ ହୁଏ, ତ ଏଇଟା ଡିଷ୍ଟାନ୍ସ କୋର୍ସ ମାନେ ତ ମାର୍କ ବି ଟିକେ ଲେଟ୍ ହବ, ଡିଷ୍ଟାନ୍ସରେ ଆସିବ। ସୋ କିପ୍ ପେସେନ୍ସ।
Thank you, sir. Thank
ଓକେ,
you.
ଆସିବ, ସବୁ ଆସିବ, ବ୍ୟସ୍ତ ହୁଅନି। ବଟ୍ ପିଲାମାନେ ସମସ୍ତେ ମନେ ରଖ, all correspondence with RC Bhubaneswar only. No study center is there in Odisha जे कि MSc environment program को coordinate କରୁଛନ୍ତି। तो ओनली आरसी भुवनेश्वर सहित तो डायरेक्ट कोऑर्डिनेशन रखिबो। जहाँ तुमर असाइनमेंट सबमिशन, प्रोजेक्ट सबमिशन, तुमर परीक्षा, प्रैक्टिकल एग्जामिनेशन, practical classes, theory classes, all will be correspondence from the RC Bhubaneswar only. Okay.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Ajit.
सर मु एक्चुअली आंध्रा रोची तो टर्म एग्जामिनेशन जो फिलअप कली फॉर्म सेटा
ସେ ତମେ ଆନ୍ଧ୍ରରେ ଦବ, ଆନ୍ଧ୍ରରେ ଦବ।
तो थियोरी एटी देबी प्रैक्टिकल पई जिबा पड़ियो कि से सेठी
ପ୍ରାକ୍ଟିକାଲ ପାଇଁ ଯିବାକୁ ପଡିବ, ୟେସ୍ ୟେସ୍ ପ୍ରାକ୍ଟିକାଲ ପାଇଁ ଆସିବ, କେବଳ ପ୍ରାକ୍ଟିକାଲ ପାଇଁ କେବଳ ତମର ଫର ଦି ଟାଇମ ବିଙ୍ଗ ତମର କେବଳ ଭାଇବା ଏକ୍ସାମ ହଉଛି ତମ ପ୍ରାକ୍ଟିକାଲ ର। ସୋ ଫର 1 or 2 days ତମେ ଆସିବାକୁ ପଡିବ ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱର, ଆଟେଣ୍ଡ କରିକି ପଳେଇବ।
ओके सर ओके थैंक यू सर
Okay. So all the
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
correspondence related to theory and practical will be to your email ID. So always check your email ID. Don't miss any email from RC Bhubaneswar.
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
Okay, Susmita again.
ସାର୍ ମୋର ତ ଚାଲି ଯାଇଛି, ସେଇଟା କିଛି ରାସ୍ତା ନାହିଁ କି ସେଇଠୁ ମାନେ ସେମାନେ ତ ରିସିଭ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି ସାର୍ 5 ତାରିଖରେ, ତ କିଛି ଏମିତି ୱେ ଅଛି କି ଯେ ମୁଁ ତାଙ୍କଠୁ ସେଇଟା ପାଇପାରିବି?
ମୁଁ ତମକୁ କାଲି ଗୋଟେ ନମ୍ବରଟେ ପଠେଇବି, ସେଇ
ହଁ
ନମ୍ବରଟେ
ସାର୍
ତମେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଡାଇରେକ୍ଟଲି କଲ୍ କରିବ,
ଓକେ
ଆଣ୍ଡ
ସାର୍
କଲ୍ କଲେ ସେ ତମକୁ ଗାଇଡ୍ କରିବେ ଯେ ଏକ୍ଜାକ୍ଟଲି ହେଇଛି କଣ, ହେଲା?
ଓକେ ସାର୍ ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ ସାର୍,
ଓ
ନମସ୍କାର ସାର୍।
ଓକେ, ନମସ୍କାର। So students, thank you for your patience hearing. Hope we will have knowledgeable, enjoyable and learning class in the next upcoming 2 days. And hopefully 2 days you will gain something or related to environmental impact assessment. And thank you. We will have the next class tomorrow at the same time and in the same platform. So thank you.
ଓକେ ସାର୍ ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ। ହ୍ୟାଲୋ ନିରାକାର, ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
हेलो मैडम। हेलो।
hello, your admission is on January 24 ना?
ଆଜ୍ଞା।
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
ହଁ କୁହନ୍ତୁ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ, କୁହନ୍ତୁ।
ତମର admission January 24 ନା?
ହଁ।